Hello and welcome to the Beach and Orchids. Today is all about the Aerangis mystacidii. It's another care collab video, so let's get straight into it. So Aerangis mystacidii, also called the mystacidium-like Aerangis. It comes from South Africa, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Malawi and Zambia. It's a cool to hot growing orchid appearing from 60 meters to 1800 meters up. It's cool to hot growing. It's a high humidity, moderate shade growing orchid. They really like growing on twigs hanging over rivers and that kind of stuff. So the humidity is high. These also appear in drier areas away from water, where they live in deep shade. So it's quite a variable little orchid. It says that it needs a cooler, drier rest, nothing like any dendrobium, but a bit cooler and a bit drier rest in winter. The flower size are about an inch and a nice pendant spike. So that's how it grows in nature. This is a care collab video, which is a collaboration between Cloudforest Vibes Orchids and More, Ninja Orchids, me, Honeybees and Orchids, and one of the very known and bigger channels, which is Eds Orchids. So great, the bigger channels are starting to pick up on the care collab idea too. It's a brainchild of Nina from Ninja Orchids. So let's get on with how I care for it and how it came into my life. I bought it in 2019, somewhere at the end of summer, I think. I'm not very sure. It's from Orchids. It's from orchids.nl. And it came on a little piece of grapevine. I first seen this orchid, like many orchids. The first time I've seen it, it was on Roger's channel. When it came to me, it had a couple more bottom leaves. And in about January last year, 2020, it started growing this leaf, and then it grew this leaf. I bumped the leaf, so it's got a bit of a scar, so it's hanging down. It had this root, this root, this root, and this root. Those were the roots it had when it came to me. In the meantime, it grew this root, that's still growing, and it grew this root that still has a tiny growth tip. And a couple of weeks ago, it started producing another leaf. Every time it grew a new leaf, it dropped one, but I'll hope that those were just the seedling leaves and that these will stay on. I haven't bloomed it yet. It says intermediate on the tag, but it grows cool to intermediate, which makes it quite adaptable in my opinion. I grow it in my home in the living room, as with most of my orchids, which is in winter 20 to 21 degrees centigrade, with a drop towards 16 degrees centigrade at night. I have a humidifier running during the day, which keeps it at least at 60% humidity. If if there are a couple of rainy days, the humidity in here will be higher, which it's supposed to quite like, because they are high humidity growing orchids, they say. About 70, 75 to 80, 85% in summer, with a bit drier, about 65% in winter. But as it's still growing and it's growing leaves, and the leaves are getting, you can see this is the first leaf it grew for me, which is smaller than a leaf it had. But this one is bigger than that leaf. And this nice new big leaf seems to be already wider, and probably will be a bit longer. So there is progress, which is great. A sip of coffee, because it's still early in the morning again. I almost forgot. I water it regularly, and I feed it quite regularly with rain mix. That's a complete feed. I do not use any supplements or anything like that, and I'm not a heavy feeder. I feed about 100 to 120, maybe sometimes 150 parts per million. So I wanted to get that in there too. So, and when in growth, I'll feed a bit more often, especially when it's growing leaves. The roots are very slow growing, so I really don't mind that much about when there are root tips to give them extra feed, or extra often, I should say. But when they are growing leaves, I'm giving them regular feeds, about 100 to 120 parts per million of rain mix. Yeah, this is a care clap with the other channels, Cloudforest Vibes, Ninja Orchids, and Eds Orchids. We will be posting it all on the same day, with links in the description to the videos, and maybe even the channels of the collaboration channels. I would like to use this video to ask people, any creator that has orchids in the channel, that's one, but of course, if you would like to do a care collab about any orchid I got, please let me know in the comments, and I will get back to you, and we'll set something up, and we'll do a care collab. The reason for the care collabs is to get a database with different orchids, but per orchid there is a group of channels, and most of us all grow our plants different, so you get a widespread care guide about a specific orchid. And I will all put them in a playlist called #CareCollab, and there you can find all the videos in the care collaboration I made, and the videos the people made that were joining in onto the care collab. There will be occasional updates, so if you got an Aerangis mystacidii and you think, hey, I would like to join in on that, that's a great idea, please let me know, and you can join in on the next update. So that ain't a problem. And as I said, it's Nina's brainchild, but we would all like to see it grow and to become a real database for new orchid growers, or people that get a new genre in their home or in their greenhouse or anywhere they grow. And with different environments, because Nina is in the southern of Spain, Ed is in the UK, and Bobby from Cloudforest Vibes is USA based. I'm not sure if it's West Coast, Middle or East Coast Florida. I'm not sure. I know he grows them in an orchidarium of some kind, so that's just a totally different way of growing, but that makes this series so great. Anything else I should have mentioned? The blooming season of mystacidii, of the mystacidium like Aerangis, is summer and fall. So end of summer we might see a spike develop. Let's hope so. I think it's a very nice little small plant. You can have a lot of Aerangis on a little space, and I think they're great little orchids, resilient too, because, well, if you read the care requirements on internet, the logical thing I should say is, I can't grow that in a home, do not buy it. But the old scrolls, as Roger would say, aren't always right. So I think they're quite easy to grow. I haven't got it in bloom yet, so that might be the hiccup point, but it's growing okay for me. And I hope I hope you will try one too, because they are absolutely great little orchids. I've got other Aerangis. I got Aerangis Kochiana, I got Somalensis, which is doing very great. I got a Aerangis hybrid. So they really took off for me, because I like miniature orchids and they are easier than many sites will have you try to believe on their site. But again, mind me, I haven't got it in bloom yet, so that might be the hard thing. But it's growing roots, it's growing leaves, and as long as it's growing, it's happy in my book. It's winter now. Every couple of days I'll just lay it down in a little tray and water it right up to here. You can see the base is nice up above the grapevine. And I'll let it soak there for about 20 minutes or so. Sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less. So it can pick up a lot the moisture it needs. The grapevine, that holds some water too. And it appears to be happy on the mount, so I will leave it on. Sometimes I think the grapevine might be getting a bit old, but I'm under the impression that it doesn't really care about it at the moment. There might be a day it will have to be remounted, but, well, we'll think about it then. So, the Aerangis mystacidii, a great little orchid, looking great. I think it's a very nice orchid. I grow it in a living room with 60+ humidity. I water it, I soak it regularly, so it can pick up enough moisture. Yeah, that's about it. So if you'd like to join in on the Care Collab, let any of us know which orchid you got and if there is a match, and so we can do a Care Collab video of our own. Well, do not forget to check the videos of Cloudforest Vibes, Ninja Orchids and Eds Orchids right after this video, which is now. Houdoe!